Hey everybody, this is Livin Lies on MindStretch with Fletch. Today I'm going to be telling you the tale of when I lived as a yellow garden spider. Well, I found myself all cooped up inside this egg while I waited out the winter cold for spring to come along. Then one day I felt it was time to break out and see what this life was all about. Once I escaped, I saw a whole bunch of brothers and sisters all doing the same thing. So we all took off on our own to find a place to catch some food. I found this nice little corner of the world where I built a tiny orb web trap. Before long, I done caught myself my first meal, a juicy, bloody skeeter. Why, when she first hit my web, I couldn't make hide nor hair of it. But then the old instincts kicked right in there. Boy, she was madder than an old wet hen. So I scurried over and bit her just to calm her down. Then spun her all up in my silk just to marinate for a few hours. Then I went to town. Now that skeeter would have made your tongue slap your brains out. It's always a trip tasting something for the first time as a new being. You never know what it's going to be like, but that one there was a doozy. Then for several months I just kept weaving webs, catching food, eating, and recycling the silk so I could set up a trap somewhere else without having to remake all the materials. A lot of people don't even know we do that, but makes things a lot easier. Sometimes I'd post up between a couple of bushes. Other times I'd find an opening on a porch of a building or something. The best places though was where food for other types of beings was growing, like gardens with fruits and vegetables. So there were lots of other critters hanging around. I'd try to find somewhere that was sunny, with not much wind, so them critters would be just flying along and suddenly find themselves with nowhere to go. And I'd just be waiting for them, and I'd have me another snack. Them days kept me busier than a one-armed monkey with two peckers. Since most days, I just sat in one place waiting for food to show up, I'd watch the comings and goings. One time, when I was posted up in his garden, I done seen this family of deers just munching on some lettuce. Them deers are usually pretty dirty and don't smell so good. But the thing about that is they attract all sorts of flying critters with them that get themselves stuck in my web. So that day, it was like fishing in a barrel. I gotta snag me a smorgasbord of delicacies. But while I had 'em marinating, this human came running out of their house to shoo off them deers eating their lettuce, like it was a big to-do. It's always a hoot to see them humans try to keep their stuff separated from the rest of nature. And they get all fussed up over everyone else just trying to follow their own instincts for survival. I get it though, they're on a whole nother level, but it's still funny every time. Another time I was posted up on a porch and watched a bunch of butterflies just fluttering along off in the distance, and I thought, that looks tasty. I sure hope they wander over yonder. They was a beautiful orange with black stripes and white dots around the edge. Sure enough, one eventually moseyed off on its own, just destined for my belly. As it came closer, I thought, that one right there is headed for my web, and sure enough, he landed right in it. He started flapping his wings and flipping and flopping and just tearing up my trap. I tried to get up on him to knock him out with a bite of venom, but he done broke himself free. So I never got to taste that there monarch butterfly. Sure looked good though, but you win some and you lose some. I did get myself a grasshopper later that day though, because he got himself stuck in the stable momentum of my web. See, that's the thick part, so there ain't no escaping. Fighting to get out of there is about as useless as tits on a bull. But I still got right up there on him quick like, wrapped him all up, and then later had myself that tasty treat as a consolation. So I just kept growing and growing. As summer turned to fall, I realized that my days were numbered and it was about time to pass on my genes by finding a man to mate with. Then one day I was chilling on my web, waiting to catch some food, and I felt a vibration. It was coming from the edge, and it didn't seem to be struggling. I was more confused than a cricket in a hubcap. Then I felt the vibration again. So I looked over and I saw this other spider. I could tell it was like me, but wasn't like me, you know. It was smaller and skinnier. Then I realized, well, that's a dude, and he's trying to get with me to make babies. But I was skeptical. What makes him think that I want to make babies with him? So I eyeballed him for a spell. He started putting off this vibe, you know, and moving toward me just a bumping and a grinding, thinking he was something. Then he'd back off a little, put off another vibe, and then start doing the same thing again, moving a little closer. He was being cautious as he should have been, seeing as how I was bigger than him. And since I still wasn't certain of his intentions, I was ready to pounce if need be. I could tell he had a silk drop line set up to make an escape if I had attacked him, but he sure was persistent, and I started to like it. He just kept inching closer and closer till finally I decided to let him have his way with me and we shook booties. Then as soon as I got what I needed, I took him out, wrapped him up in my silk and let him marinate for a few hours, and then gobbled him up to give nourishment to my new babies that he'd helped me make. But for him, that was all she wrote. Then after a spell, I was ready to lay my eggs. So I pushed them out, wrapped them in silk, and put them in the middle of my web to be safe. By this time, I could tell I was getting older. Just something inside me told me I was getting near the end. So I just kept doing what I'd done, staying alive and keeping them eggs safe as long as I could. Then one night it got colder than a witch's titty and I could tell my time was almost up. So I said goodbye and good luck to my eggs. My body started to freeze and I felt myself fade off into the abyss and on to the next adventure. Now as I look back on this experience, I reckon it makes me appreciate some of the other lives where I get to live a little longer and travel a little more. But this is also one of those lives where I get to relax most of the time just waiting for food to catch themselves. And I don't have to hunt all the time just to make it like a lot of other times. I'll tell you what, sometimes when you're starving and can't find any food, that's a tough road to hoe. But there's no sweet without the sour. Every life teaches us something about what it's like to be something else. Just a little more perspective so we're not running around like a chicken with its head cut off. Alright, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed my tale living as a yellow garden spider and it stretched your mind at least a bit. Just remember, a mind, once stretched by a new idea, never regains its original shape. See you next time. Be sure to subscribe or follow to join in on the mind-stretching conversation. And if you thought this video was worth seeing, please like and comment below to let me know what you thought. And share it to your social media so that everyone has a chance to see it too. Thanks for tuning in, and if you're up for it, see you on down the road.